Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the CSGO Clutch Podcast. My name is Adam Cohn, I'm your host. And what a fun way to start off Group D. We have EG upsetting Astralis. Team Liquid looked good against Fnatic. And VP did kind of exactly what everyone thought, and they went absolutely ham. Alright, as always, we're going to get started here. It's a solo pod edition today. Dan will be rejoining me for the next main slate. Solo pod edition. So we're going to review the winning lineup. It was a two-person takedown tied for first place. The winning lineup was a 3-2-1. Winning lineup had 3 Virtus Pro, which after the way they played made sense. Captain James, he had 126.75 DraftKings points. Yakindar and Buster. Buster went off, was 44, 13, 27. Was absolutely great in that matchup. We had 2 Team Liquid. Naf and Fallen ended up being optimal. Or at the very least, ended up being on the winning lineup. Naf, 36, 9, and 30 for 65.5 DK points, but Fallen has been looking really good. 45, 12, 26, 1-1v2 clutch, 82.5 DraftKings points. He was $5,400. He absolutely smashed. Breezy, this should come as no surprise with the way EG ended up defeating Astralis. That was a leverage spot for this lineup. Clearly, you can see the 12.2% ownership. EG ended up upsetting Astralis. And Breezy, of course, being the ace of EG, went 65, 5, and 48 with a 4K for 71 DK points, again at 12.2%. Breaking down this lineup, Virtus Pro versus Endpoint. We know Virtus Pro is an absolutely insane team. And the way James went off on map 2, you needed James in your lineup. And it turned out he was the best captain play for the slate. Now, this lineup did have, again, a 3-2-1. So 3 VP, 2 Team Liquid, 1 EG. And the interesting thing about this lineup is how cheap the Team Liquid guys that ended up being the winners are. Elige did okay, but wasn't on the winning lineup. Naf, we said yesterday, Naf was like $6,400 made no sense. So great play. Fallen 5,400. We knew it was a cheap price tag. It was up against Fnatic, and he's been looking great lately. So he ended up being optimal. So looking back, that's definitely something to when you're making a stack. Naf and Fallen ended up with 2 great players. They just had cheap price tags. So you don't need to necessarily get to an Elige. Elige didn't pay off in this lineup. And we know Elige is the ace of Team Liquid. I mean, he did okay, but he wasn't, he wasn't here. Wasn't in the winning lineup. Breezy, this is the kind of talent this kid has. Kid's really good. This is the reason he's the ace of this team. I didn't really get a chance to watch much of the games, to be honest. But the fact that EG took this 3 maps and they beat Astralis on Inferno says a lot. I really think that definitely says a lot. And I believe they beat them on Nuke, if I'm not mistaken, which also says a lot. Which are 2 maps that Astralis are really good at. So, definitely something we can take a look on. So we saw, 2 favorites win, and we saw 1 upset. And Breezy ended up being the right call. And could fit him in this lineup. Didn't need to necessarily stack all the heavy guys. For example, I will show you what I did. I stuck to what I said yesterday. And I went and played Captain Glaive. I paired him with Dupree. And Dupree for 60.50 points. Glaive did not get there at all. Which is okay. The Fnatic ownership was very interesting as well, and that's something I want to talk about. JW was $4,600 and was 8.3%. Yes, I understand he only scored 39 points. But as one of the more... He shouldn't be that cheap. He's one of the more consistent players on Fnatic. Is he elite? No. But 4,600 in stacks that I wanted to work with Crims. And Crims never ended up being optimal either. 38, 11, and 39 for 58 DK points at 8,200 was not getting it done. I did have Yakindar and James. I just didn't have James on my captain spots. You can kind of see what I did. Looking back on it, again, I said I thought Fnatic could beat Team Liquid. It was the first round. We haven't seen Fnatic in a while since I am Katowice, 2021. Back in February. I thought they would have come out and showed a lot more. I'm worried for Fnatic. And I caught a little bit of the analyst desk with Pimp, and I want to say Jacob. I'm not sure if it's Jacob. I apologize. Whoever the other one that's alongside Pimp is. Um, it sounded like Pimp was a little concerned for Fnatic. And what I mean by a little bit concerned for Fnatic is they need to show something. Otherwise, I think it sounded like maybe there needs to be some more roster changes. Now, again, this is a full Swedish team. That's a Swedish organization. Are they going to have to go outside of being an all-Swedish roster to get this team to where it needs to be? Fnatic is a legendary Counter-Strike esports team. They've won several majors. You can think of the greats on these rosters. I believe Olaf Meister was on this roster. And you had JW that's won a couple titles, Crims, Flusha. A lot of the core stayed together for a while. But from what little I watched, other than from what little I got a chance to see of this game, they didn't look good. They didn't look right. Giacchino looked okay. And, folks, when I said yesterday that when we see Endpoint versus Fnatic, I said that might be the one match I can see Endpoint winning. Well, on this slate, we have Fnatic versus Endpoint. But before we get there, I want to finish talking about Astralis. I think EG, whether Breezy just put EG on his back, I think that says a lot. Astralis never used Bubsky. And that also is very interesting. Because why wouldn't you use him against EG? I mean, are you not done fully incorporating him yet? Like that, it doesn't make sense. So, Device and Dupree are the only ones that were positive for a positive kill to death ratio in this game, and obviously, and Breezy and Sark were the only ones positive for EG. So it was really interesting. It seemed very even. I think it's day one. I think we shake it off. We see what we have in day two, and we move on from there. That being said, let's get into the slate. Fnatic versus Endpoint. First game here on the slate. And I still don't know why Flush is in the player pool. Flush is benched. He is not part of the active roster. Don't play Flusha. Let me say that again. Don't play Flusha. He's not on the active roster. Alright, now with that being said, this kind of doesn't surprise me with the pricing here. Crims at 9,200, Broland at 8,400, Giacchino at 7,000, Golden's at 6,000, which is a little overpriced for him, and JW's at 4,800. Let me go. Let's folks, let's check the odds. Let's go to Pinnacle. Let's see what we get here for some odds. Go here, Pro League. Fnatic are a 229 favorite versus Endpoint. Should really be no surprise here. Virtus Pro is a minus 225 favorite versus Evil Geniuses. And Astralis are a minus 186 favorite versus Team Liquid. I find these odds interesting. I mean, no surprise. I think after the performance we saw from Fnatic, this is a little interesting to me. The plus 184 for Endpoint is really, really interesting. And the minus 229 for Fnatic is definitely giving Fnatic some props. All right, so let's get back into the slate. You definitely want to play some Fnatic. You definitely want to play some Endpoint. I'm going to take a stand, I think, and I'm going to play Endpoint. The problem with this game Fnatic, in theory, should run over Endpoint. Crims looked good. Broland looked good. They should defeat Endpoint here. For DFS purposes, I think both of these teams are in play. So on the Fnatic side, I like Crims first, but that price tag is very expensive at 9,200. Broland is my second favorite at 8,400. JW, purely based on price at 4,800 is my third favorite. If it wasn't based on price, Chiquino would be my third favorite at 7,000. And Golden, I'm not playing. On the Endpoint side of things. Alright, so I'm just going to come out and say it. I don't know how I want to call this game. I think Fnatic win. I can see Endpoint upsetting. I'm picking Fnatic to win. I can see Endpoint upsetting. I think Crucial at 6,800. He's the opera for Endpoint. I think he's one of the best players on the slate. He's been done really good over the last couple months. I think he's like plus 100 and something kill to death ratio. Or kill to death differential. It's between Flames and Robin for me as my second and third. I'd go Robin probably on ownership and Flames third. But I think Flames has a little bit higher of an upside. If we can, let me just go over here. Let's go to overview. Let's go to Flames. So over the last 3 months of play. Flames has a 1.09 kill to death ratio on 41 maps played. He's averaging an ADR of 78. His KPI was 0.74. His impact rating is 1.19. He's got a total rating of 1.11. This kid has been good, and the kid's 17 years old. This kid is really good. Alright, so versus Virtus Pro today. He was -7. It's Virtus Pro. Then Endpoint played a couple other games today. Versus Sprout, he was +6. Versus DBL Pony, he was what? He was +14. This kid's good. So, with that being said, Flames won. Let's just take a look at what Robin's done. Again, Robin over the last month of play is +31. We go over the last 3 months, he's +58. He's got over the last 3 months a 1.06 kill to death ratio and a 1.10 rating. Surreal is my fourth favorite on this team. Surreal is $4,200. And I'm not playing Mighty Max. So I think the Endpoint pricing is very interesting. And definitely someone I want exposure to. If you're taking a couple shots in a large field GPP, I would definitely get some exposure to Endpoint. Definitely in anything bigger than a 3 max, get exposure to Endpoint. Second game on this slate is Virtus Pro versus Evil Geniuses, and Virtus Pro again coming in as the favorite. Yakindar still sitting there up in the up in the 9,000 range. He is $9,400. James is 8,600. Buster at 7,200. Kickert at 6,400. Sanji all the way down at 5,200. I think Virtus Pro win. I think they 2-0 EG. I'm happy EG beat Astralis because we can see that this team looks good. Virtus Pro right now are just on another level. And if you want some leverage, EG are fantastic leverage on the slate. I think Endpoint are my favorite leverage play on the slate. EG my second favorite. Team Liquid Astralis are too close to call. I'll get there in a little bit. It's kind of tough. Again, so based on what we're going to see from the matchups here, I want to say James is my favorite on this team, and Yakindar is my second, but it's a 1A, 1B with these two. You know, you have a stud rifler and a stud hopper. I give a lot of credit and I give a lot of credit and respect to Cirque and Breezy for that matter. So these are going to be two great players going up against two great players. It's going to be even. What's going to come in, I think, is the rest of these guys. So I think Jakindar and Jamie are great plays. I'll get into EG in a second, but Breezy and Cirque are great plays. Again, the figure out Buster and Kickert I, I'm still leaning Buster until we see something different. Kick it 4th, Sanji 5th. I really don't want to play Kick it or Sanji in any kind of tournament. But again, anything over a 3 max, you want exposure to them as well. On the Evil Geniuses side of things, we have Breezy at 7,800, Cirque at 6,800, Tarek is at 6,200, Stanislaw, the IGL for this team, is 5,400. Oboe continually to be disrespected down here at 4,400. He didn't look great, for what it's worth. 4,400 for EG stacks is a wonderful price tag. Get some Oboe exposure in your EG stacks. Breezy and Cirque are the 1-2 I'm targeting in that order. Tarek 3 for me, Oboe 4, Stanislaw 5. I'm not even really playing Stanislaw. I mean, if you want to, you can play Stanislaw 4 and you can leave Oboe 5. We need to see more from Oboe. He didn't look like he was having a good game. Again, I'm picking Virtus Pro to beat EG 2-0. Final game on this slate is Team Liquid versus Astralis. Astralis, once again, very high priced. Device is up there at 9,800. Dupree, 9,000. Bubsky's at 74. Glaves at 76. Zipix is at 6,600. And Magisk is at 5,800. It's for reasons I don't quite understand. Start on the Team Liquid side of things. Elige is at 8,200. He's got about a $1,000 price drop from yesterday. Naf, $7,000. Grim is at 6,600. Stewie 2K finally priced appropriately at $5,600. Right in that range we like to play Stewie 2K. And Fallen, completely disrespected. $4,600. After the performance he had, he got a price downgrade. We are once again playing Fallen on the slate. I understand his device. He's going up against device. I don't care. Fallen looks great. And I want to play Fallen in Team Liquid stacks 100%. I think for Team Liquid, I'd go with Liege and then Naf. Grim, Stewie 2K. Liege definitely my second favorite. Fallen's my first favorite on this team. Naf at 7,000 is still about $1,000 too cheap. So take advantage of that on this slate. Astralis. We know Device is the Opera and Glaive is the IGL for Astralis. And this is the replay or the rematch. Team Liquid versus Astralis was the grand final for the IEM Global Challenge back in 2020. I believe it was in December. So Astralis won that. Team Liquid looked good. Team Liquid looking for a little payback for Astralis for defeating them in the grand final. I think this Team Liquid roster can do it. No twist this time around. Replaced with Fallen. Fallen is the Opera and IGL for Team Liquid. Yeah, I'm picking Team Liquid to upset Astralis. I think Astralis are about to go 0-2. But again, smart money should be on Astralis to win. They are the better team. I think the way Team Liquid have looked. I'm not saying Astralis look terrible. All I'm saying is Team Liquid have looked good recently. And I'm just picking on the win on the slate. This is a slate overall where you're going to have to take stands on teams that you think are going to win. All 3 of these games. Endpoint can beat Fnatic. Team Liquid can beat Astralis. EG has a chance of beating Virtus Pro. We could see 3 upsets. I don't think it goes that way. I think VP's rather safe. I think Endpoint and Team Liquid have a chance to upset the favorites in their matchups. With that being said, I'm going to go ahead here and go to the core value and GPP part of the podcast. And like I said, Endpoint can be Fnatic. Team Liquid can beat Astralis. I think Virtus Pro defeat EG. My picks for the slate, Fnatic, Virtus Pro, and Team Liquid to win. For DFS purposes, I don't know how I want to go yet. But I will tell you, for our core value and GPP play segment, or rather part of the show, my core play on this slate is I wanted to say Crucial at 6,800. I can't do it. I can't list him as a core play, guys and gals. I just can't. Guys and gals, I can't list him as a core play. I will put him as my GPP player of the slate. It's tough because I don't really have a core. I think this is more GPP plays. Like I can't even say Fallen at 4600 is a core play for me. It's just it's I don't have a core play on this slate. I will give you multiple value and GPP plays though. Value plays, well, value and GPP play Fallen, $4,600. Oboes at 4,400. JW at 48. Flames at 64. Crucial at 6,800. Chiquino at 7,000. Nap at 7,000. Cirque at 6,800. They're all values. They're too cheap. GPP plays. Again, Naf, Cirque, Crucial, Chiquino, Grim, Flames, Tarek, Stewie 2K, Fallen, JW, Obo, Device, Yakindar, Jame, Brolin, Crims, Dupree, Elige, and Breezy and Glaive. I'm not going to give all of them. I could list off everyone as a GPP play. My favorite GPP plays are Fallen, Crims, Yakindar, Jame, and Dupree. Everyone else is... This is a mix and match slate, everybody. Take stands. I wish you all the best of luck. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment down below, hit the notification bell. This way here you all know every single time a podcast drops. And I wish all of you good luck on this slate. And I will see you for the next main slate. If you have any questions, you can ask them and find me on Twitter at AdamWX21. I'll be more than happy to answer any questions you all have for this slate. Or leave a comment down below and I will do my best to try and answer them. With that being said, I wish all of you best luck on the slate. Take your stands. Go with the plays you feel confident in. This is a GPP slate. Anything can happen in these games. Any team can win. I wish you all good luck. Latest peoples.